Welcome to the first edition of the Gridiron Throne podcast, solo edition, hosted by your boy here, Jeff. Episode 1.1, whatever we want to call it, just breaking down the Marvel Dynasty League. First round so far with team needs included. We'll share my screen. We'll look at the teams. We'll make fun of some people for their draft decisions, trading away picks, so on and so forth on the show. For our listeners at home, I will also kind of describe what their teams look like and on a scale of like 1 to 100 of how bad their team is. Just kidding. I'm not going to go that deep into it, but let's share the screen. We'll get going with it. As expected, Bijan Robinson did go 1-1. Shocker there. Anytime that Bijan does not go 1-1, something's wrong with the team, or the owner. He's the best possible option at 1-1 that you could have. And for anyone who doesn't take Bijan 1, you should be trading out of it. Anytime that you can get as much as he's going for never playing a snap, you have to take advantage of it. So thus far, we'll just touch on round by round first, but we'll knock out the first one. So Bijan went to Mike. Okay, Mike, here's what your team looks like. You got an aging Kirk Cousins. You had Tyler Algier, Devin Singletary, Hopkins, Pickens, Watson, Bellinger, Cook, and Mac Jones. That's your starting five. You do have Purdy, Pickett. No one else. I mean, Jamal Williams from New Orleans. He'll have a little bit of an impact. But overall, you made your one hit wonder shot at the playoffs. You fell off. You actually traded up for this pick, which was kind of an interesting move, figuring you had some good depth pieces. And it was kind of a shock to me that, you wanted to go all in for a generational talent. I mean, yeah, you did it right, but I wouldn't have paid that much. You gave up Saquon, 112, Mika Parsons, because this is an IDP league, obviously, and 1-1. And you got 1-1. I can't read sometimes. And you gave up a 24 first for a guy that hasn't played yet. That's insane. Maybe a Mahomes level player I would do that with. That being said, your grade for this one is an A. You can't pass up on Bijan. Best available is what you got to do. Second overall pick, Anthony Richardson went to Jim or Hurt So Good. His team, a little bit different. We're talking about a contending team. He's done pretty good job of rebuilding his team, getting some good trades done. His team was kind of a stick in the mud prior, but he brought in Jalen Hurts. He got Ken Walker, Chris Olave. He did trade away Najee Harris, but he got 1-4, which also turned into Gibbs, but we'll touch on that later. He has Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, Dalton Schultz, Mari Cooper, Deshaun Watson, a couple backup QBs, Jahmyr Gibbs, he picked at 1-4, but he picked Anthony Richardson 1-2. Best available option with upside is Anthony Richardson. He doesn't need to start him day one. He could sit on him for a year. He could trade him. He has a lot of options with Anthony Richardson. I'm giving it A minus. Love Richardson personally. His accuracy scares me. Good depth piece. Gave you a third QB. That's what you need in super flex. You also have Drake London on your bench. Gabe Davis. You're a pretty solid team. Still going to be a contender. Your defense is loaded. I'm not going to go through all the names right now because if you're watching at home, you can also see, what I'm showing on my screen. Solid team overall. Mind you, I should have probably said this to start. It's a 12-team Superflex tight end premium. Can't beat it. Okay, next pick, we got the Trash Pandas. Also, this is my cousin Walter / Evan, whatever you want to call him. He's taken over a really trash team overall. Owner was very lackadays when it came to it. Got on him a couple times to make some moves, be vocal with people, accept or deny trades. Finally did it. Made some good trades with me, benefited me obviously, but nothing that was super crazy. He brought in Kyler last year before he tore his ACL. So biggest team need here was QB. Best one available, Bryce Young. Fits perfectly with the squad because he could step in day one and start. Sam Darnold might start for the 49ers right now. It's a toss up. I'm giving it an A. Simple as that. With his team construction, he's got veteran wide receivers. Cordero Patterson at running back, Montgomery at running back as well. Evan Ingram, Adams, Evans, and Samuel, and then rounding it out with Calvin Ridley. Um, it's a work in progress. I think he knows that as well. Um, the grade is definitely an A, just based off of the state of your team. You just need to kind of break it down one by one and kind of build it up. Now he does have some other younger pieces, as you can see here. I'll read them off: Javonte Williams, Trayvon Burks, and Romeo Dubes. Worth a shot. Can build around those players. You could also sell off some of the veteran wide receivers on this team if you need to really rebuild, and then get some more picks. Fill in the needs. You have the capabilities to do that. Overall, not the worst state of a team I've seen. Defense is solid. You have Fred Warner, Jalen Phillips, Trey Hendrickson. Not bad. You have it. This could be a sneaky team if everything goes right. Excuse me. Um, we'll move on to the next pick. Jahmyr Gibbs touched on the team earlier. It was a team need. Moved to Najee to me actually, because I ended up trading up for 1-4. Ended up trading it away. Wanted Najee. Think he's going to have a great year. Hopefully that works. Worked out for both of us. He took the younger Gibbs. I think he's going to be electric. It's going to hurt to watch him do awesome, but I'll take Najee. Love me some Najee. Okay, so now we're talking into the talking, whatever we want to talk about right there, with amazing Spunker Man, aka Jay. Let's see here. Pulling up your team. He completely tore it down. Let's just say this. He took over the team for a manager who quit midway through the year last year after I think week 10. I actually took down some notes on like the overall record, and he took over and he went 3-7. He played the final 10 games because we do double matchups in this league. And you know what? That's not bad to tear it down. He could have made the playoffs if he would have just stuck with it. He did move a lot of pieces, but he got some picks. He was able to acquire Trevor Lawrence to build around. He literally tore down this team, and like once I read it off, people are just going to tune out. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Chuba Hubbard, Christian Kirk, Isaiah McKenzie, Amon-Ra St. Brown. He was just recently acquired. Noah Fant, Alan Lazard, Jordan Love, and he just took C.J. Stroud. To have three options once again at QB in a super flex is awesome. We don't know what the rookie's going to be. It might take a year to develop. He's going to be in there right away. It's the Houston Texans. Their team is just shit. Perfect spot. Fills a need. Build around your QBs. That's what I always say. Good pickup. We're just going to stick with him. We might skip and come back around for it because he had picks 7 and 8 as well, which he took Jordan Addison. Filled a huge need at wide receiver. So him and Amon-Ra, so my USC fight on Trojans, it was a good landing spot. He's going to be on the other side of Justin Jefferson. Can't beat that. Overall, I would say that's a steal at his pick just because it's going to be an immediate impact, and it will help him, and he'll be a day one starter on this team. And then he picks Sam Laporta. I think this is a reach. I'm giving it a C, picking him at 1-8. Yes, he can be an immediate right away contributor. The problem is I don't know how much Goff is going to target him because Jameson Williams will be back at some point. He does have Jahmyr Gibbs. They've been sliding him out as a receiver. Laporta will be there. He's going to surprise us and probably score like 8 touchdowns, and that's being modest. And it's just because I have a feeling that they're going to put him in crossing routes across the field. Someone's going to be open. Overall, it's a C grade just because it might be a reach. Could work out, could have a lot of upside, but I would have picked Kincaid over Laporta, but that's just me. Touching on Marvel D's nuts. He took JSN, Jackson Smith, Najigma. Overall, that's a solid pick. I wish I could say worse things about it, but I can't. He's the best wide receiver probably in this class, and that's saying something. Now, from his team, he's a contending team. He actually won. This is our former champ. He has Mahomes, Mixon, Pollard, AJ Brown, T. Higgins, Michael Pittman, TJ Hawkinson, Alvin Kamara, Dak Prescott. Going down to his bench, he got James Conner, Zeke Elliott's still on his team. He's got some depth pieces: Alexander Madison, Rashad Penny, Odell's on the team, Jerry Judy, Tim Patrick, Cardarius Tony, Marquez Valdez Scantling. So, he went for the stack with Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes will still always target Travis Kelce more than anyone. That being said, um, he took the best available piece. He did try to trade out of it. There was no one was biting on it. It's too high of a or too steep of a price for and I say this now and we're going to regret it because JSN will be a top receiver in the league in a year and we're all going to come back and laugh at this, but adding a depth piece, he didn't really need a whole lot. Getting 1-6 helped him. I don't expect TJ Hawkinson to replicate what he did last year. I'm just not as much of a fan. He struggled with concussions early on in his career. It is kind of contingent on, the health of, not even the health of Cousins, but if Kirk Cousins does the primetime Kirk where he just blows him or he implodes, then he's going to be in trouble. But I mean, he did carry him through some of the matchups last year. This is a dominant team. Go on the defensive end, you can see he's got Kayvon Thibodeau, some really good core pieces. Just looking at the depth of his team, he does have just a ton of backup QBs. Just it's trade pieces, and that's what you have to do to win. Kamara could be a hole. He might be out 6 games. What's his overall status going to be in the next year or two? Zeke Elliott, we're going to see. We already saw that, that realm. That being said, his team is stacked. So I fully expect him to be back in the playoffs, back in the Final Four. I'll probably see you there when it comes to it. Enough said about you. We're moving on to Hulk Agents of Smash, aka Pat. Some of you guys hear him on my other podcast. We rip on him in that league. This league, it's a completely different person because of how good his team is. He drafted really well from the start. Also didn't take over an orphan team previously. We'll pull up his team, but he did take Zach Charbonnet. His starters are Russ Wilson, CMC, Ramondre Stevenson, Deontay Johnston, Cooper Kupp, Terry McLaurin, Travis Kelce, Damian Pierce, and Justin Fields as a starting lineup. He did need the running back depth, so Charbonnet, maybe drinking a nice Chardonnay would be nice. Deontay Foreman, Damian Harris, Darnell Mooney. He's a Bears homer, so trade all your Bears players to him. Gerald Everett, Pat Fryermuth, Dalton Kincaid, and Cole Kmet. He did take Kincaid with pick 11 out of 12. That's a steal. Immediate impact as well. Charbonnet could be really good. I think he's going to eat into Ken Walker's touches. I think it's going to be a little bit different scheme now. The problem is that Pete Carroll loves to use running backs, and they all seem to get hurt too. Walker is the better running back, so I think we're going to come back to this one, like along with JSN. We're going to come back to this pick and laugh because he's going to be amazing. Walker will get hurt. Something will happen where Chardonnay is like that league-winning running back. We'll see what happens with it though. Touching on Kincaid, we'll jump a little bit of ahead to it. Getting him at 11 is a steal. Josh Allen loves to throw the ball. I would expect him to overall throw across the field because he hasn't had that target ever in his career. He also has Dawson Knox. Yeah, we could say, oh, well, is he even going to play? We don't know what his role is. We really don't yet. But he'll be in the flex. He'll be in the slot. He will get his touches, and he could be a Travis Kelce-esque tight end. And as you can see on his team, even the ones I read off, Travis Kelce, Dalton Kincaid, Fryermuth, Gerald Everett, and Kmet, he's loaded. And this is a tight end premium 2 point per. So the emphasis on tight ends is huge. I think that's the best option there. Now, going to the last 2 picks, Devin Achane, or a Kane, Age Kane. I'm terrible at these names. If you listen to any of the other podcasts, I struggle with them all the time. It's actually very funny. Um, that being said, this is a good depth piece. Off the top of my head, I know he has either Wilson or Mostert, and I could read it out here. At QB, Josh Allen, Isaiah Pacheco. At running back, Brian Robinson Jr., running back, Stephon Diggs, Lamb, Moore, round out his wide receivers, Dawson Knox, mentioned on him a second ago, Cortland Sutton, Baker Mayfield. Immediate starters. The biggest need I'm looking at this one is QB. There's none in this draft at this point where you could pick them. Take your young running backs. Um, he was a contender. He won the first year of the league. Was huge on Baker. Like it was a big Baker Mayfield back end of the season for Cleveland. I think they made the playoffs that year. That he rode that hot streak with them. Well done. That being said, he does have Jeff Wilson on the bench, so Devin Akane is the best option there. He's an electric running back, fills a team need at depth at running back. We'll touch on Kendry Miller a little bit later because I see that he did pick him, but I'm just touching on round one, and we're just going to touch on teams that picked in round one. I don't really care about the rest of them. We can even talk trades in a later episode too. But Cade Otton is his other tight end. Allen Robinson, Curtis Samuel, Renfro, Richie James, DJ Chark. We have some depth pieces. Team could be in the top 6 or 7, depending on the outlook on your defense. Defense is very iffy. Like the linebackers are solid, but once again, I'm not going to break down defense is too high. But overall, just a solid team. Should compete. The biggest hole is QB currently, but if you have in your mind that you could just trade for one or just like miss 1 year and then find another QB, you never know. We'll get frisky with it. Last pick of the first round, Michael Mayer. So we'll touch on the Revengers. He did hold the 1-1 pick, so he got a good return. He got an excellent return. Team is solid. Team is solid, should be competing. We do divisions, and he would have won the division last year if Jim didn't get hot near the end of the year and steal that playoff spot and make a good run. I mean, he ran into Marvel D's Nuts, which was a tough matchup overall. But we'll run through the Revengers, aka Mike Sr., his team. So Joe Burrow, Travis Etienne, Miles Sanders, Hollywood Brown, Chase Claypool, Juju Smith-Schuster, Robert Tonyan, Logan Thomas, Daniel Jones. I know that these sound like it sounds like a trash team just based off of like the back end of it. Well, as we can already tell, he did fill a need. He grabbed the probably number one tight end last year in college football at Michael Mayer. I hate Notre Dame, so I'm not gonna touch much on them outside of the fact that he's an elite talent. But he does have Saquon Barkley, Jared Goff, Breece Hall, Van Jefferson. That's a solid squad right there. He also has Michael Carter, Tutu Atwell, Sky Moore. So we have some options here. Overall, he filled the need. I mean, the next need, and you'll see this in round 2, he did fill it, but I'm not going to go too deep into that. But wide receiver would be a depth piece next, and he picked that. So that being said, I'll stop sharing my screen because that's the end of round 1. We'll be right back at you with round 2 analysis and overall team needs from those players. Overall, quick first round draft. It is a slow draft, so it gives me time to come up with these. And we'll be right back with you. Thanks.